Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We are not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Ministerio de Trabajo, Empleo y Seguridad Social.
Afuera.
Afuera.
That's my
Ministerio de Educación. Adoctrinamiento. Afuera.
Yeah.
Ministerio de Transporte. Afuera. Ministerio de Salud. Afuera.
Pentagon removes major media outlets, including NBC News, from dedicated workstations in new rotation program.
We up next, guys.
It says NBC News, the New York Times, NPR, and Politico must vacate their office spaces in 2 weeks for other news organizations, including at least one that did not request to be added. Damn.
You think y'all gonna profit off me?
They cleaning shop.
Y'all gonna profit off me? I
They
mean, what
cleaning
y'all
shop.
trying to do?
They said no more propaganda networks. That's breaking news right there.
That's big.
Oh man, they're gonna tank so bad, man. All these media companies are gonna tank. But it gets worse. CBS to hand over transcript of Harris' 60 Minutes interview to FCC admin, $10 billion Trump lawsuit. That could be $10 billion.
That's
that
a lot, man.
CBS has to pay for that 60-minute edited interview. $10 billion.
Dang, that's how much they got.
That's crazy.
They probably got, man, they got
How
some
much does
stuff.
that company
Hey,
worth?
this might, I don't know. It might bank. I ain't gonna say it's gonna bankrupt.
Well, they got
but
sports and
it could
everything.
possibly. Yeah, they got some money though, for sure. I mean, that's crazy. You can't do that, man. I mean, not on a presidential election. We want to hear the real, raw answer.
21
from the
billion.
elect.
They're taking half.
Oh, they're cooked. You know how many people are gonna have to lay off because of
Damn.
this?
Yeah.
So did he win the interview? I mean, the lawsuit?
We don't know yet. We don't know yet.
It's looking like they're gonna have to pay up.
Yo, they're gonna have to pay up something.
So I just want to know, like, all the Harris supporters who are still complaining to this day, knowing that a network that aired this fake interview is getting sued for billions of dollars and is preparing for the hit. How do you feel? Do you feel like you were played?
Yeah,
feel lied
I
to.
got some little friends out there. I haven't even sent them stuff. Like when I see something new every day, I just say, you know what?
I stopped
Bro,
losing my
I don't
money,
even.
bro.
I don't even entertain
gonna-
that shit.
yeah, I'm
Like,
not
if you gonna
even
sit
gonna
on
do it.
social media and cry like a bitch.
Nobody's crying, but I'm saying, though,
Oh,
like,
no.
yeah,
people
are
still crying.
I'm talking
People
my,
still
my
crying.
personal.
If you are an adult with bills and a life and you're making your political woes on social media, crying, making posts, whining on your personal page, I have nothing to say.
My
to you.
little friends
You're
that
pathetic.
I argue with, that was arguing for a long time, I don't even send the W's anymore. Like, because these people that are getting fired and stuff like that, like, I mean, this proves everything.
Nah.
But I'm just gonna leave it alone, man.
All my friends that's masculine men, they get it. All the ones
Oh,
that's
yeah,
a little
yeah,
feminine,
yeah,
a little
yeah.
sweet,
They do, yeah.
little sugar in their tank.
Yeah,
Hey man,
I
they the
agree.
ones crying.
I agree.
That is infuriating, Commissioner. Really, when you look at those completely different answers, it's clear that the second answer was actually not even part of the first answer. I mean, they may have actually taken the second answer from a different question and just inserted it in there.
That's exactly what it
What do you
looked
want the FCC to do here in terms of CBS's local New York station, WCBS?
Yeah, my SEC colleague, Republican Commissioner Symington, has been very active on this. What he's pointed out is the news distortion rule is a very, very narrow rule at the FCC. In almost every case, it doesn't apply because it could get into sort of editorial decisions that are protected by the First Amendment. But what he said is that CBS should release the transcript. And the reason why this complaint is not frivolous is because the rules say, for instance, the example we've given is if you take an answer to a question that is a yes, and you replace the answer of no from a different question, that's something that would potentially fall within the news distortion rule. My position is I agree with Catherine Herridge. She was a former CBS reporter. She has said that she thinks, just as a matter of journalistic practice, CBS should release the transcript. And I think that's right. I don't think this needs to be a federal case because I think CBS should release it, and then that would, inoculate entirely CBS from that FCC complaint.
Man, there's just so many L's. So many L's.
Yeah. When the rains it pours, man, and it's pouring. for
Imagine
them.
if Trump did that, though. Oh, they would be trying to sue them.
Imagine the headline. Imagine the headline.
Not Trump,
I
but
promise you that would be everywhere.
Yeah, our company did that for Trump.
That would be everywhere.
Fox News rigs election.
Like, we see what happened when she went up there by herself, and when she went on Fox, they said, "Oh, wrap it up." When he got when Brett Baer got to really ask the question,
they
they said,
said
"We're done."
He's being too mean to her.
That's why Joe Rogan, I was listening to the other day, he said he didn't want to do Kamala also because, it was actually, I think on here, we saw that. Because there's going to be too many people in the room and he wanted to go in there and do it by himself because if they did it, like, they was going to control it.
Man, they had something where recently that come out where they were saying like he basically like just kind of like didn't want to do an interview with her. Like, he's like, it got to be at this time.
No, that was what we reacted to. Yeah, he said that was cap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we reacted to that.
Okay.
He said that was cap.
Okay, my fault.
He told them anytime.
Complaints of media bias against CBS, ABC, and NBC have been revived by President Trump's new Federal Communications Commission chair, Brendan Carr. The FCC chair under the Biden administration, Jessica Rosenworcel, had dismissed the complaints of biases in election coverage last week. But under Carr, the FCC will continue to investigate the complaints, claiming these affiliates distorted their broadcast to favor Vice President Kamala Harris over now President Donald Trump during the heat of the election cycle. FCC Chair Brendan Carr taking over the federal agency this week and immediately reversing his predecessor's decision to dismiss 3 bias complaints. The now former FCC chairwoman called the complaints a weaponization of the agency's licensing authority, saying the complaints were at odds with the First Amendment's protections of a free press. But Carr says the decision to dismiss the complaints was done prematurely, based on an insufficient investigation that deserves further consideration. Here's the 3 complaints the FCC will be looking at, all filed by the law firm Center for American Rights. An ABC affiliate is accused of bias favoring Harris over Trump during the September presidential debate. A CBS affiliate is accused of news distortion in the way 60 Minutes edited its interview with Harris. And an NBC affiliate is accused of violating an equal time FCC rule when Saturday Night Live featured Kamala Harris in a cameo the weekend before the presidential election. The equal time rule requires broadcast stations to give equal coverage to competing political candidates. When Rosenworcel dismissed the equal time rule complaint, she said Trump was given airtime the next day during a NASCAR race and an NFL Sunday Night Football game, and said the FCC shouldn't be the president's speech police. During the election cycle, Trump had called for ABC, CBS, and NBC to lose broadcasting rights over the issues detailed in these complaints. National networks are not licensed by the FCC, but the FCC is responsible for licensing individual stations, like local network affiliates, which is why in the complaints, a local affiliate is the named target. According to the FCC's own website, the agency has the right to impose a variety of penalties on a broadcast station. That includes hefty fines and revoking licenses. But the FCC says it rarely intervenes due to the fine line between news distortion and First Amendment rights. If the former FCC chairwoman would have dismissed these 3 complaints a few weeks earlier, then it would have prevented Trump's FCC chair from being able to revive the cases. But the complaints will now get a second look by the agency under new leadership.
Well, they're cooked. They are cooked. Wow. I can't believe they did. I mean, man, hey, I see why all the people, the Democrat strategists and all that say like, hey, man, we ran a perfect campaign. She had triple the amount of money. She had everything she needed. She couldn't get the job done. It was hard.
They bet on the wrong horse.
Nah, they really did. I just don't think she was just strong enough in herself to get the job done.
So you give a kid all the training, all this and that, But if little buddy over here better, he's better.
Because I really think like she had all the tangibles. Like she's a woman. Resume wise, on paper, she's very qualified. Yeah. I mean, she was likable. She had the steam, the momentum. I just think when she got in front of the camera and put her product out there, she couldn't do it. I think that alone.
I don't think she was
That's why she needed all those people to come out.
You don't think she was likable?
No.
I think from like a non-politically educated standpoint, she was very likable.
Yeah, if you didn't know too much, you know.
But I personally just couldn't stand it because like
Obama
just
was
listening to
likable.
her ramble and talk in circles and stuff like that.
My dad didn't like her, so I don't know.
I just couldn't get behind her, man.
The Republican-led House Ways and Means Committee has released hundreds of new documents from the Hunter Biden investigation. And I want to walk you through Exhibit 202 and 203. Exhibit 202 is an email from August of 2020. It was sent by prosecutor Leslie Wolf to senior FBI and IRS investigators who are drafting a search warrant. Wolf tells them to keep the scope narrow and limited to potential violations of foreign lobbying laws, or FARA, and to remove references to political figure one. So who is political figure one? Well, that's explained in Exhibit 203. It's heavily redacted, but this is the draft warrant, and it lists political figure one as former Vice President Joe Biden.
Eventually broadcast a story about the Hunter Biden laptop after the midterm elections in 2022. We commissioned a forensic review. I got a copy of the laptop data. I have it here still. I went to a lot of effort to get the cleanest copy of the laptop data, the same data that was provided to the FBI, because I didn't want to have any professional journalistic risk for CBS News. I wanted this thing to be totally locked down. When we did the story, we did it after the midterms. I argued against that because it was ready before the midterms. And my training is that you should always do the story when it's ready to go. You should not be dictated by the political cycle. Once we got the laptop story on the morning news, I felt that there was so much there that we could still do. For example, in the text messages, there's unfortunately the use of the N-word, the liberal use of the N-word. I thought this was worthy of a story, but I was told that it was not something that interested CBS News. Then I asked for a forensic review of the laptop, and we found that there were more than half a dozen emails that were likely used by Joe Biden. I thought that was a story. But the answer that came back was, well, we need to know what the content is of the emails. But that was going to be a years-long process. So there was no way. There were a lot of reasons I was told not to do it.
They're done.
Not to pursue it.
$10 billion on the table right now, man. They're done. They're cooked.
Wow.
Hey, every single liberal media actually might be cooked. They did it to themselves. I don't feel bad. I actually don't feel bad at all. Like, not a slight bit.
Not for the media. Boy, that's the real bad guys for real.
Yeah, and the fact that people are still riding hard for these
they're idiots.
I mean, I just want people to just wake up, because I think a lot of people.
It's gonna happen slowly.
Man,
the red wave, we saw it happen so far this election. It's gonna keep happening, bro.
It happened.
I don't know,
especially with how the media is now with Trump in office, and you can't really get censored for having an opinion and speaking truth. A lot more people are gonna hear the truth, and I think more people are gonna wake up.
The Lord say.
But there are always gonna be people who oppose it always, no matter what.
Maybe it's just my social media feed, but I've just seen
I see a lot
in
too.
And crying. It's driving me nuts.
I see a lot too.
It's to the point where I just don't even want to be on the app right now. It's just
Damn.
like,
No, yeah, me
when
too.
is this shit? I'm just tired of this constant complaining and
Yeah.
crying.
Well,
It's negativity.
they should be happy
Because
we're
it's
not getting drafted.
Because but just from like a logical standpoint, if you consider yourself politically educated, right, and you paid attention to everything in the election cycle, you saw what Trump was promising, you knew what was going to happen if he won, and now he won. Everyone's getting exactly what they voted for, and people are just crying. Like,
Yeah.
gosh,
Like, I was so happy when Trump won, but I knew I was like, it's going to be a lot of complaining for 4 years.
man.
Joe Biden didn't know what he was signing. We seen a video of Mike Johnson say
No,
that Joe
that's
Biden
the biggest.
didn't know.
That got blew over too bad.
A lot of stuff got blown over too bad.
So that's why I
He
said all
said
that
he did not know what executive order he signed.
all that complaining, I ignore that shit. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, after hearing some shit like that,
Yeah.
you're either super gay or you're just a complete dumbass.
Or she.
What it is.
Not bad about that one.
We're out
Not
of
bad
here,
about
guys.
that take.
Hey, $10 billion on the table. He gonna get it.